We are
Okay. All right. There we
recording
go. Oh,
with.
oh, look, it's a fat dog.
There you go. Don't call me that. Oh, your dog. I didn't have to zoom up. They just call me. I was like, that's a bold fucking.
That's a hell way to
That's
start this party.
fucking.
Like,
That's
wow,
punching the
man.
guy. That's killing the first guy in prison. You see, welcome to the show. Look at this fat bitch. Like, Jesus, fuck. All right.
I
Uh,
uh, I call my
with
Saint Bernard my fat dog. He's actually very svelte. He's an amazingly athletic dog for almost 200 pounds.
fuck yeah.
So, yeah, it's fucking wild. I don't know why I just call him Fat Tits, though. It's always been my
Oh,
name.
dude, my toy poodle lived till he was 17 and a half, and he would still, you could tell it would make his day if you called him like puppy. Say an old man, you could kind of tell it was like getting to him. And you'd be like, who's a good puppy? And you could tell he was like, yeah, it's like IDing like a 70-year-old woman at the liquor store. It's just like, you know
Right,
what? It's how I show love. Everybody listen, Clay's been on here a zillion times before. We've gone over Wrath of the Wendigo. I think the first time we talked was Prairie Fire and or Concrete Jungle. And then the newest one, Barbarian Spirit, which I did finally read. You can find the link to that in the description. It is fantastic. It's as quick as Wrath of the Wendigo. Um, but yeah, so just immediately to kind of get into it, you go into kind of Europe, which we've talked about before, kind of the move from atheist to there's something, and myself growing up Catholic and then going atheist and then kind of coming back to vaguely Christianity. Um, but one of the things you talked about was things getting lost in translation, and I thought the most brilliant one was Yankee Doodle, and going through like, yeah, Yankee Doodle, come sit down and write a yana. Yeah, like, I was saying it out loud as I was listening to it, and it's like, yeah, no, it's about like whores and like fags, and you're like,
right. And grave insults to Americans, like
and
some
it's
shit that would like start a street fight.
and more importantly, it's in the language we speak, and what was like what 2, 3 centuries?
200 years ago.
Okay,
That was actually Revolutionary War time. That was 1775.
so the language we speak under 2 centuries. You then you have to reasonably extrapolate that to everything farther back. And that even includes, and there's a chapter in your book where this might be insulting to Christians, and your whole thing is like, at the end of the day, it is kind of all of us versus the satanic pedophiles. So there's really no point in infighting. Like we're all on the same side. So like, don't
Right.
read it. But yeah, no, I've always assumed that's kind of it's why I don't go to mass, but I pray. I don't pray to any angels or apostles. I think it's uh, I think it's all corrupted through the shit that is man. And I don't mean that in some soy boy nihilistic sense. I just go like, I know how much of a lying motherfucker I am, and how much
To
even my
myself too.
yeah, to myself, yeah, and how much of my own desires pollute anything I'm doing. So I've always just kind of looked at like the core thing of Jesus, and it's love each other as I have loved you, and don't lay your treasures where what is it, dust and dirt doth corrupt, meaning this is all passing. Everything else I kind of look at as like, it's interesting, like I'm looking at a
Right.
cathedral right now, like it's beautiful, but I've never let that. I think the main thing is just like, hey, it's treat others the way and protect your family, don't fuck kids, like that's all the good stuff.
Don't
So
be a satanic fucking pedophile.
it's
Holy
really
shit.
pretty easy,
It's
man. It's
really
like
fucking easy.
dude, I'm so scared of the Secret Service shooting at me. Like, okay, well, you're in Maine. What I would suggest you not do is drive down to DC and jump the fence.
Right. No
You're like,
shit.
that's it. You're like, that's it. Just don't get in the car and drive for a day. I can do that. Don't be a satanic pedophile. It's pretty cut and dry. But that alone, though, I think you have to then apply that to everything from just history, what is real, what is
Yeah.
just propaganda, and all of it. And it is all kind of boiled down to the same thing. But nonetheless, you still follow it up and kind of end the book with a strong, like, something is there. And I think that's the most important thing, is calling out the horseshit for what you think it is or what you feel it is versus, and you keep a very intellectually sound, you get an A on the report card at the very end. You're like, this could all be my subconscious. I have no idea. And you have to do that. No matter what you
You
see or
do.
what you believe, you have to go, this also might all be horseshit.
Right. No, I think that's probably the most important thing. In fact, somebody I don't remember who told me that one of the most corrupting influences in any religion is when you develop a priest class, because a priest class has a reason to. And it
It's
might
a
start
three-letter
as
agency.
right. It
They
is
now have a budget to justify.
exactly
Is it?
fucking right. And seeing the things that I've seen, also, I can kind of see how it happens. Because people have come to me, people with let's say like an intelligence strata lower, like a little bit less cognitive, not dumbasses, but like a little bit less cognitive ability, and they want you to tell them like exactly what to believe. Like, okay, so can we believe this even? We're like, no, motherfucker, like I'm not your priest. You, the most important thing you do for your belief system is figure it out for yourself. All
Mhm.
right. And I don't know, read the books, do whatever you want to do. All right. But don't just blindly follow my bullshit because it flowed well on paper.
Mm,
That's the last thing we should do.
mm.
But that is exactly how you develop a priest class. And then that's where the problems always start, I feel.
And then it's kind of like what was it in molecular biology? It's like the thing that I forget the fuck what. It's basically it's like I'm probably butchering it, but it's like the proteins that check the DNA for mutations. Once those proteins themselves get mutations, they are now less effective at checking things for mutations,
Amazing.
which means the next iteration is more mutated. And it take or simpler, take a piece of paper and copy it. Once you copy one slightly off center, every additional copy is slightly off center. Now imagine if the thing you were copying was also like the coding for how the copier works. So now it's off center. Now the machine itself is off center and it's making something more off. It just cycles until it's you get to the end of the game of telephone and you're yeah Yankee Doodle came to town and you're like yeah
Yeah.
what's the so I think that's where a lot of it comes from like the kind of the like the Reddit atheist, the well, what about you're not supposed to eat shellfish? And I'm like, yeah, I don't actually like believe that that's it. That's just a fucking thing. Like that either is a
Well,
metaphor for whores, or it's just like, yeah, back then people got sick from shellfish. I don't fucking
Well,
know.
so you can tell a lot of things, especially from the Old Testament, are adaptations to live in that environment. Don't eat pork. What's the easiest thing to get in a very hot environment? Trichinosis. All
Yeah,
right, it doesn't fucking count in Maine. All right, where it's
yeah,
cold, all right, and we slaughter the pigs in the fall. But yeah, in the Middle East and where it's always summer, that's where you get trichinosis.
yeah,
Seafood,
yeah.
obviously, one of the things that's super easy to fuck up. So don't eat that. And somewhere along the way, probably some priest. I was like, okay, God damn it. Tommy and his dumbasses just keep eating lobster tails because they can't stop. I'm going to say that God said you can't eat those anymore because I'm tired of dealing with him sickening the whole village. 20 years later, like that's codified. That's like
Yeah.
word of God. Yeah. So a lot of things you can see where there was probably some man influence for the greater good, like fucking always. But it starts going down some really dark paths. And that's again also it's without like defying the word of God. It's why you always have to look for was there a writer influence here? All right, and the
Mm.
language thing is huge. That's also why like my favorite episode that you've ever done is with Doctor
Hillman, Eamon
Ammon
Hillman.
Hillman.
Yeah,
Yeah, because there's somebody that actually like has spent his life understanding the language
yeah,
from that. That's a whole different animal. I can pull out a dictionary. It's not going to be the same shit though. It's not. It doesn't work that way.
yeah.
That guy understands things in the native language in a way that I never will. So that's why I always find a cast like his intriguing.
Mm.
But yeah, you do have to look out for those things. You have to look for who asserted something in the message, and not only was there a multiple language translation here, but how much time has evolved to make this mean a different thing. Because just like with the telephone game, it can happen a little bit at a time. And next thing you know, you've got something completely off of what it started as.
And it also doesn't mean throw out the baby with the bathwater. It's like
Right.
I think
Correct.
2020, as a guy with a biology degree who did research in college, undergraduate research on aquatic toxicology, the most mind-numbing shit, but it looks good to get him as whatever. As someone that like has a genuine respect and to a degree of love for it, we all saw how bastardized the trust of science. That also doesn't mean yeah, was it evil? Yes. Did they perpetuate a eugenics campaign on the planet? They did. But just because of Nazi Germany happened doesn't mean we don't use railroads anymore. It's like there is still something there. It's like, yes, they bastardized the science. However, Elon just landed that fucking rocket, and like that was
Right,
science. And it's like
right,
don't fucking throw it all out. What it means though is
right,
revisit the source material and see if it jives with your own peer
right.
review, your own personal examination. And I think that's kind of what you got through psychedelics is you and I both the first time that it's when you did them a couple of years ago. When was the first time?
For
Not
me,
important. Yeah, not
yeah,
important is we didn't know each other, is my point.
right,
Is I did it 10 plus years ago. We both had very similar kind of like first things where
right,
it's either like the little bits of knowledge or it's the fear or it's the two sides of the it's like looking up at the piece or looking down at the skulls and the hell. There's all this shit, but it is, I think, revisiting the source material that you could say things like, the life of Jesus is based on or whatever. It's that same general like, oh, there is more. It's not
right,
just all matter bumping around in a cold, uncaring universe.
right. Exactly right.
Yeah, I then always wondered, I'm thinking about this today, is like, is it pure bliss to exist in that realm? Or do you think they desire our realm the same way we desire theirs? Like, we're both talking about a couple of experiences we've done that, what, maybe cumulatively 24, 30 hours of our lives.
Probably,
I'm
totally.
34
Yeah,
years old.
yeah.
That is less than a fraction of a fraction of a fraction. Yet here we are talking about it. Do you think the inverse is true? Do you think like the giant like Anubis or fucking like dog-headed, three-armed god? Do you think they look at us and they're just do you think they look at their interactions with us and they talk about it years later the same way we talk about like the mushroom trips?
I think there's a distinct possibility. I think this is one of those things that we never get to figure out from this realm, because I think it would ruin the experience too. But we never really get to know, like for sure, what the next thing is. And again, that's part of the deal. If you did actually know, like it would make this one like suck. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's like another level we play after this that's I don't know, Earth 5 and we can fly in that one we're scaling up or if we get recycled into this until we can achieve that other level. I mean, I would like to think that they talk about our interactions like, man, that was pretty cool. Like maybe they do some fucking cosmic fucking fourth dimension drugs and that's how they
Mm,
talk to us. I don't know.
mm.
It is an interesting concept though. And then it gets you into the concept too of what's real on the other plane. Because this is something that I tell people too, especially for like the plant-based drugs, like the mushroom drugs. Everything over there also has an agenda, and that's how you have to have your relationships. All right. They, I believe, live a much longer lifespan than we do, perhaps infinite even. So they have a lot of experience manipulating us. And so you always have to watch out for that. No matter how, good it feels or how true it seems, you'd always have to have that grain of salt of, hold on, is this somebody trying to push me to make an influence here in this world?
Like what Ramdas said. He was like, just because somebody's disembodied doesn't mean they're wise. he,
Yeah,
he was like,
right.
he was,
No,
I had a
that's
friend,
true.
I forget who he said it. He said, I had a friend, I forget what it was, his name or whatever it was, like Bill. And he's like, Bill's a great guy. Bill lost all of his money investing in US Steel right when it went bankrupt. On the other side, Bill was telling me that, about the other side, he was seeing my mother in the afterlife. He goes, but I still never invested in US Steel, even though Bill still felt that it was a good investment. He was like, Bill, I know you're disembodied, but listen, it's that stock is tanking. And like, just because you're disembodied doesn't mean that it's like you are immediately an angel of light. If anything, right, the entire concept of Satan is that he's not a scary guy with horns, is that he's like a beautiful being of light. And
Right.
I think you had that experience. I think I did too, where the first time you go in, you're like, oh, this is awesome. This is all like love and angels. By the end, I think I had the same thing you did, where it was like, I can't take them now because I get like no downloads and I just get sick. So all
Yeah.
that's telling me is that like I'm not allowed back in the club. Like I already went
Right.
in, I
I saw my
saw it,
shit. Yeah.
And it's like, well, now you got to work with it. It's like
Right.
I went to Clay and you told me you're like, all right, this is a shooting routine. This is how you're a beginner shooter. This is what you do. Do this every day for a year. And every day I keep knocking on your door. You're like, are you hitting like the targets? Are you doing the thing? And I'm like, what other secrets do you have? You're like, there's nothing else. You got to go fucking do it. Right? It's like that's what it is. And so it's the last time I did shrooms, it was like, or the last time I did acid, it was like I was going right up against the edge of it, and it was just like, no, you can't come in.
Right. No,
You
it's
know?
weird. It's extremely weird. This is also I feel like one of the ways you know you're doing it correctly versus doing it recreationally just for fun. Like I have so much respect for these drugs. Like one, I can't imagine just doing it for fun. Like, hey, fuck it, let's
I don't
right
get it.
yeah, you're no, hell no. But yeah, when you bump into that thing where you can't go any further, it's not that the drugs don't have any effect on you anymore. It's something else. Like you're not allowed to play until you meet
Do the
whatever
homework.
fucking criteria homework that you were supposed to do. And that was weird. That was also one of the things that made me think like there really is something to this. Because if it wasn't, I could just do drugs and imagine crazy shit again, like every
Yeah.
weekend if I wanted to. Or if I waited 6 months, like it would have an effect. I could, I don't know, see some more screwball shit. But yeah, it was very, very weird to take them and bump into that thing. We're like, no, go home. Like,
Yeah.
oh fuck. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's some weird stuff.
Yeah. Like that's the first handful of times I did them. I've only done, I think on 5 occasions in my life. But like the first was just kind of like there is something after death. Didn't really illuminate what it was. It's basically like there can be good, there is evil, but there can be good. It was like, yeah, that's pretty
Okay.
cool. And then it
Yeah.
was like, yeah, the next thing it was like life is a lot of work, but can also be enjoyable. And this is as someone who had like clinical OCD. All I did was study. And to me, it's like if I wasn't hating my life, I wasn't working hard enough. I was
Right.
like, all
Yeah.
right. I was like, noted.
You're your own tiger mom. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, noted. It was after my brother committed suicide. Another thing was like, hey, like that sucked, but like you also have to live your life. And it was just like you cannot dwell on this forever because if you do, then you've essentially ended your own life. Like if you
Right.
don't, because at the time I was 23, it was like you got a while left. Like grieve it, sure, whatever, don't forget it, but it was like you got a long time left to like live a life. And then kind of as it kept going though, it just once it hit that, it was like it's like there is more after this life. You can live your life and enjoy it and love it and be creative. And then it kind of like fizzled off. And I think the last time I did them, it was like it was giving me the bottom of the barrel shit. Like when you scroll to the bottom of Twitter and it's just all dog shit posts. It was I remember the last time I did it, it was like the fucking B team like writing squad. It was like, what if what if Disney's evil? And I was like, yeah, of course it is. Like, what? It was like, and it was like, what if there are UFOs? And I was like, what the fuck off? Like, it was just, what aliens? And then it was literally just kind of like, hey, Tommy, get out, dude. Like they're doing, like
Yeah.
they're hitting the last call. Like, get your beer and leave. And I'm like, what
Like
else? And they're like, oh, there's, life. The pyramids are weird, aren't they? And I was like, all right, I
that's
get
funny
it.
because the last one that I did also led me to the pyramids. Hey, how you doing, guy? Say hi. Say hi to Tommy. Oh, good.
What up, boss?
It wouldn't like really give me anything, but it led me to like pyramids. And there was the Anubis guy and like some hieroglyphs and shit. And I actually think that was like them telling me like, okay, dumb fuck. You're supposed to like actually do homework on this too, like with like a book though, and like study. Like you can't just take drugs and learn this. And like, ah, god
It
damn
was
it, I
literally
was so
just what
disappointed.
happened. Is that your son or who just walked
That's
in?
my son. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he just walked in. You and I are the entities, and he's like, "Hi." We're like, "Hey."
Like,
You
we
gotta-
have grown up shit to do right now. Go
Yeah,
back to
and there's like, I want to see the computer. Like, you've already seen the computer. You gotta go to school now. You got a long way. You got decades ahead of you, dude. Like, get out of here. But that's kind of what it feels like. So it's back to the science thing. It's like, don't trust the science, but also don't throw it out. Like, there is something there.
right.
And I really do think I mean, the number of people I've interviewed, you know, veterans who have done this to help them get through like legitimate
Yeah. Oh
PTSD, that
yeah.
ain't nothing. That's a legitimate,
No.
that's where you start to go, I,
Well, dude, let's talk about that because I actually
yeah,
cover that. I cover that kind of briefly in the book
yeah,
because I
your buddy
wasn't.
with the opioid, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I can expand more on it now because it was kind of one of those things that like needed to be in the book, but it wasn't really like the focus of the book. So that is kind of the reason that I did it in the first place was, I was having some issues and shit, and I needed something. I needed something actually besides the science. They already tried that. They gave me like the magnet therapy and the crazy shit, and it did, it didn't really help. So let's kick it back. Let's go to some, Eastern medicine in a way, and let's just take some fucking drugs. Like, all right, cool. All right, gangsters fuck. And it did. It helped me immensely. So all of my bullshit aside, what that really did for me was it made me open up about it, like in a big
Mm-hmm.
way. And I'm kind of a weirdly like a fucking voice for my community and shit. And I just like I said in the book too, I was like the extremely straight-laced fucking dude back in the
Yeah.
day. Yeah, I was like, fucking make sure your boots are laced the right way, guy.
Yeah.
So people found it fucking hysterical that now they call me SOCOM's best drug dealer. To go from this guy to this guy. So I've guided a couple of my guys also, and that's not because I'm like super qualified or some bullshit. It's just that we're not going to open up to like a fucking shrink nerd about real shit. Like we're just not as a
You're
general.
not gonna open up to me. I'm a podcast with no military service. You just
Right.
you're just
It's
not.
just not. It's
Why
not.
would you?
Right. It's not this. It's just not the same fucking thing. But one of our own, like we will trust. So I've gotten to take a couple of guys now and guide them, and it's been immensely helpful for them. Whether most of them didn't see the same kind of crazy bullshit that I saw, but just when they were done, they were like, "Oh fuck, I'm way better." And even checking on them months later, they're like, "Yeah, I don't know what the fuck it was, but I just feel better. My brain works better, and I don't have this lethargic thing." And yeah, it's just all around. It's a win. I think for like veterans issues, like there is nothing better. Absolutely nothing better.
Hmm.
I also include with that like ketamine therapy because that's legal and quite a few dudes have
Mm-hmm.
done that, and it helps a little bit, but it's not the same. From what I've seen thus far, psilocybin is like the jam.
Yeah.
Uh, and I'm open to, and when it tells me it's the time, I'll try DMT and ayahuasca and some of the other crazy shit. But I know definitively that psilocybin is like the fucking. It really is like the magic pill.
Yeah. And it grows. There is something about like LSD is fun, but there is some, and maybe it is the power of suggestion. I know that the few times I've done it, you can feel it doesn't grow. Not to just sound like
Gotcha.
some fucking, Trader Joe's hippie douchebag man bun, but you can tell it's different. It's the warmth from like my parents have a huge fireplace in their cabin. That versus like I have a heater. I have central heat. It's not it's warm. It's not a fucking crackling fire with like a stone hearth. You're right, and it's there's a difference. But for me, again, it's like a weird, I don't know, it goes so far over the edge, it comes back at the beginning. And by that I mean it's like it gets so complex to where it's like no amount of therapy or prescription drugs will do it. You have to go in and you have to fucking have these experience, see these entities and spirits and everything. And then for me at least, it came all the way through on the other side of like, well, what is it I need to like do every day? And this is like when I was in like the worst rut of depression, and it was like you need to have like a long-term goal, which for me before that it was getting into med school. Now it's building the podcast. You gotta get up at like the same time every day. You gotta exercise. You gotta get some sunlight. You gotta make an effort to text your brothers, call your parents, make sure you keep all the family lines, fresh and rich. You have to water those roots, and that's about it. And I was like, what? And it's like you have to go to like the DARPA lab, and then they tell you like, yeah, so your problem is like you're not hitting the gym enough. Like that's it. They're like, yeah,
Right.
you kind of, it's the meme. It's like, why do you work out? Lift heavy rock, make sad voice go away.
I know exactly.
It's why I go to I texted you this morning. I was like, I'm running late. I got to go to the gym because this
Right.
show would have been shit if I didn't.
Right. No, no, fuck, totally.
I have to go push rock, make sad voice go away.
What it showed me, and I think this is a huge difference too between some of the kind of like the fucking nerdy dudes that got into this shit in the 60s and 70s, and even to a degree, like Thomas McKenna, like not shit talking Thomas McKenna because he did a lot of work, but I
Yeah.
can't stand listening to him fucking talk. I probably never listened to more than three
Hello,
minutes of
welcome
Terrence
to
McKenna.
the psilocybin. We'll get you're like,
Right.
will you blow your nose?
Because because he's a fucking nerd and he's never lifted a heavy thing in his life. This was one of the things all the drug told me. Believe it or not, it's very hard for some guys do great at this. Some of us don't. I was in the don't camp. Don't do great at after we're done living the soft ninja commando life of keep going to the gym and keep because you're like, fuck everyone, fuck all this fucking cardboard world that we live in. Like, I don't even have to be strong to kick through these doors. Like, fuck off. And we turn into like a lump of shit, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word. One of the things, same thing as you with the mushrooms told me is like, hey, dumb fuck, you got to take care of the shell, which is this. All right.
Hmm.
I'm something else, but you got to take care of the fucking shell because, you got the Toyota Corolla and it's got to last 200,000 miles or 150. It's got to do good though. All right. You
Yeah.
can't just, not put transmission fluid in it and drive
Yeah.
like a fucking retard
Yeah.
because you have places to go.
Yeah.
And this is what's going to get you there. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Okay. All right,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. No, it's on one hand, it's like this body's fleeting, like don't hang on to the world. On the
Yeah.
other hand, it's like, as Ramdas said, it's like it is part of the curriculum. He's like,
Right. That's a
he's
fucking
a,
very good point.
he's like, it's not, it's not here for no reason. You do
Right.
have to go walk around and then whatever lesson that teaches you, a little bits along the way, or it's a lifestyle, not a whatever the fuck. But
Well,
it's yeah.
yeah. What's specific to my visions as well, too, like the as above, so below thing is real, and that the war is here
Hmm.
and will be here, and so you can't fight that with fucking noodle arms. Like you can't. Like the show's got to have some fucking ass to it too. It's really funny how one thing affects the other. But yeah, you got to be strong over there, but you have to be strong here too. You got to like be able to hold your stabby thing
Hmm.
and do shit with it. So yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. I think this is also how some people end up chasing the high and just doing the drug all the fucking time. I think they don't realize when they hit that wall that you can't go any further. And they just think they need a higher and higher and higher dose. And that's not true at all. That's the opposite of what you need to be doing. Are you here to say hi again? Oh, you need daddy's ice cup. Okay. See, he just did another dose. He wants to come back.
Exactly.
Oh, there's like one piece of ice in there, bro.
He's seeing hieroglyphics bouncing around.
Yeah,
He's,
it's like, listen,
it's got to be.
I
He's
I
got the
paid
toad eyes.
I paid 35.99 for this fucking 6 grams of mushrooms. I'm gonna see
Yeah,
something,
yeah,
goddammit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, it's. But yeah, like I was telling you, like the last time I did them, it was just like kind of. I remember I was like sitting on like the toilet, looking at like the tile all around me, and it was like turning into like hieroglyphics but I remember at the same time I was like, this is all just such like B-roll shit. Like I've already
Yeah.
seen everything, and it was like, well, what do I do? And it's like, well, at the time I was still living with my parents, unemployed, doing nothing. And it was like, you gotta, get the fuck out. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I think I was 27 at the time. I was like, oh, I need to like move out of my parents' house, and like, it was like, yeah, what happened to your brother sucked. That was 3 years ago. Go forward. I was like, oh, okay. And since then, I mean, I haven't done psychedelics since 2017. I don't feel I need them. I've like,
Right.
I've been doing like the podcast has been whatever psychedelic thing. It's all the work that comes with it, do the right thing. And, not all, sacrifice is transactional. Sometimes you do the right thing just because it's the right thing and on and on and on and on. But it kind of like puts you back on. I don't know, like when I loved Legos when I was little, and sometimes like the train would come off the track, but not it wouldn't like derail. It would just be kind of driving and you could hear it kind of
Mhm.
like click, and you're seeing it's like, and you pick it up and you kind of like shimmy it on the and then you're like click and zzz, and you're like, oh, there
Right.
you go. That's kind of what psychedelics feels like. It clicks like the bowling ball hits the gutter, and then just keeps going, and you're like, oh, there we go. And I don't feel like and I think it was one of Terrence McKenna's friends, is like, Terrence was asking him, he was like, what's your favorite drug? He's like, oh, DMT, man. He's like, oh, when's the last time you did it? This was like in 1999. He was like, 1971. I'm still unpacking it. And he was like, what?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I don't, it's been a minute. Yeah.
No, it's fucking true. I mean, it's absolutely true. One of the other like paths that it took me down is like restarting like my meditation practice. And I don't do like some fucking monk bullshit for 2 hours a day.
No, I do
It's
20,
yeah,
I
it's
do, I
like
do 20 minutes in that chair.
right. I
I
do
just sit
like
still.
10 to 15 in my garage, my little spot. And what has been true too since since not needing psychedelics is when it needs to, it will give me almost like a mushroom grade trip, just like a little bit, not quite as visual, but very
Meditation?
close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's like, oh hey, dumb fuck. Like you don't need to take a shortcut all the time. Do this. You need to see something like it'll fucking pop up, all in. And that's also like a different way of like building mental strength. So yeah, it's like the drugs I see is kind of like the training wheel to get to this spot. Like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, that's better.
It's like the flyer. It's like use this for 10% off. Go try this beer. And you're like, all right. And then you're like, dude, I love that beer. But
Right.
that kind of got you into it. No, that's when you talked about it in meditation, it's the same thing. Yeah, no, it's most days it's just most days it's like a 2 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
It kind
Yeah.
of gets me a little bit back, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it slowed down the internal dialogue, and it's kind of slows down, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's October. Oh wait, it's October. I love this month. Talking to Clay today. Gonna see my family this weekend. I just started playing Space Marine 2, which I showed you yesterday. That's fun. Okay. It's not always like, you know,
Right.
Christ is walking with you and the angels and
Right.
hallelujah.
No,
Some it has been,
it
but
can't be if it needs to be. It needs to be that day.
mo
Like, oh shit. Like, oh
most
fuck.
days it's just like and so if I'm a little more depressed or a little more anxious, it's a little more powerful. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, slow down. Got to get through today. You live in 24-hour increments. Don't worry about tomorrow. Get through the day, do the podcast, upload it, whatever, make thumbnail for tomorrow, send out the Zoom invite, go to bed. And it's like, okay, but it's like I will say though, but you're talking about like it can be good. I have actually found that it only happened, I think, once or twice, but the most like fucked up I've ever been was not the time I took 35 grams of mushrooms. It was meditation. And like, I don't know if
Weird,
you've
right?
had, and I don't mean that in some like, I don't know if you've had that. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
how to reproduce it. It happened like
Right.
10 years ago. It was crazier than any psychedelic experience I've ever done, was just meditating,
Yeah.
like sitting on a pillow, like in between like biochemistry classes.
Yeah.
And like, to me, I always like that. I'm like, the craziest shit I've ever seen was dead sober. No psychedelics,
Right.
no LSD, no mushrooms. It was like going into it was like like Lord of the Rings when like Gandalf falls and then
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, and then the next movie it shows them and they're fighting and then it
Yeah.
shows them like enter a cave that's like a mile tall.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can describe it. It was like going
Oh,
down,
that's
down,
fun.
down, down into my brain, and then all of a sudden it was just I could tell I was just in like a cavern the size of the universe, and it just came back down to like the fabric and structure of existence is I. It's just I eternally. And I can't even put it into words. But to me, I think that's also made me help not keep reaching for the mushrooms. Because I'm
Right.
like, the thing that's brought me the farthest
Hmm.
is sitting in a chair.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah, I've had a couple of like pretty wild ones myself, just like sitting there, and yeah, that it really is. It's an important step to have happen because it makes you realize that you don't have to keep chasing the high with the chemical,
Hmm.
which is fucking insane, actually, that it works that way. It's way crazier actually when it just comes out of your head. You're like, holy
Yeah,
fuck.
you're like, what was that? You're like, I just sat here and just spoke, don't think, just the one thing I just think of whenever I'm in a deep spot is like, there is.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, have you ever woken up from a nap or something on a plane? Have you ever woken up before you open your eyes? Where all of a sudden you're just kind of there, you, like hear
yeah,
the engines. That's kind of what it's like, is all of a sudden you are. There
yeah,
isn't nothing.
yeah.
And I know that sounds so like
Well, this is
simplistic, like chimp mind, but really, once you wouldn't if you really accept the gravity of that statement, that there isn't nothing, that there is. Well, there is what? Well, there is. What do you mean? Why?
this is actually fucking crazy too. When you realize how powerful the mind is for this kind of shit. When you think back to goddamn, who invented it the first time? I want to say it was a Templar, but there's a thing called the prayer of quietude, which is essentially like meditation. It's like instead of chanting and fucking doing goofy shit, you sit fucking quietly. That the prayer of quietude was heresy for 600 years. They would burn your ass to fucking stake if they caught you doing it. Uh, that says something about A, the power of the priest class, and then B, the power of mental projection and what that can do. And that's some pretty wild shit.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I remember. Yeah, because it is what it really is it's removing the gatekeeper, right? And
Yes.
it's from we do have like a priest class now. You could say it's like people at DARPA or Lockheed Martin Skunk Works or whatever
Mhm.
fucking 0 point whatever. But that's all in like the physical world. But
Yeah.
I mean, right? I mean, the mass was in Latin. Like you weren't allowed to read it. You had to go
Right.
to the priest and be like, "What did
Right.
Jesus mean?" And you had some dude that maybe is a great guy, maybe he's a pedophile. There's a lot of evidence for the latter, and the former. I know, and some very great priests. And you have to go to him. You can't. Well, what
Yeah.
happens if you get quiet? Well, you can. I am that I am. Be still and know I am God. Do not be afraid. These are all things that come from just slowing down. Not yeah, not like the but just getting quiet and being. And you start to you really like in its entirety, you understand the Bible or whatever.
Right.
Be still and know that I am God. I am that I am. And it's just here. You can't have the peasant doing that. If
No,
if you're
fuck
trying
no.
to if you're trying to run the fucking world, you can't have
He's
people
not
knowing
gonna
that they can just get quiet.
he's not gonna fight the Rothschilds for us if he knows his shit. Like he's
How is
not
he
gonna
gonna go fucking fight in Ukraine if he is being still and knows that there is God? How do we,
right, right.
like what Bill Hicks said, we can't have people doing psychedelics. What happened to the arms industry? We, we people can't start questioning if UFOs built the pyramids. How are they gonna go fucking work for Grumman? Like you got to keep the ride going.
Right.
But yeah, it is. But then one thing I always think about, and this isn't in your book, but more so, what happens when like a really powerful person has one of these experiences? And I don't mean like, not like what you talked about, where it's
Yeah.
like, as like as a trained killer, it's like, what happens if you throw a weird thing in the machine? What happened? We don't know. Maybe the Terminator goes offline and just starts bombing Minneapolis. We don't know. It's like the B-21 stealth nuclear bombers, fully autonomous. You're like, that's not a fucking good idea, dude.
This is not a good plan.
So it's like, okay, but you kind of whatever, grab your nuts and like, let's go. I hope I don't fucking shoot up the town. Yeah, I always wonder like what happens, and it hasn't already happened. What happens if like an Elon Musk or a Donald Trump or a Zuckerberg has an experience and not like goes full like I'm gonna eat a baby in
Yeah,
in Bohemian Grove? What happens if one of them has an experience where they go,
I think it's
uh,
happened.
yeah, me too. I think one of them or a group of them have.
I think it's happened historically, and I think that probably a lot of those guys didn't say so because
Of course
they're
not.
also they're also smart to realize.
They're not idiots like you and I who are
Right,
like, yeah, I
exactly,
got
right,
so high I walked around naked. It's like
right,
there's a reason why you and I don't have like Fortune
right,
500 companies because
right,
you talk
right.
to Elon, he goes, yeah, I've got naked too. Shut the fuck up. Investors don't want to hear that. It's like,
Yeah,
fuck.
like I wake up the next day from Howl of the Moon naked in my
There's a
backyard, and
reason you and I have
Boeing
a
calls,
lower
right?
IQ. Like,
Like
fuck.
we need you to be the CEO of Boeing. Like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we were waiting for
Bezos
this.
is
Like,
like, shut your fucking mouth. Like, I've gotten naked too and covered myself in mud. Like,
but I think it's
pivot.
happened.
Yeah.
I think it's happened historically more this way. Because there is such a thing as doing things for the greater good. I think some of those dudes that were already powerful or getting to be powerful and were had the leadership shit like that, like fucking Genghis Khan or somebody did this shit and was like, oh fuck. He's like, I've got to stop all this bad shit that's happening. And the only way that I can do that is whatever bullshit I got to do to get these guys to fucking listen to me. And we got to go fuck those dudes up. And I think it's happened. I think that it's funny. One of the other things that mushrooms taught me, like I could never understand the concept of like secret knowledge. I was always like, why the fuck would the people that know this not say it, or why would they hide parts of the Bible and shit like this, like the Apocrypha, that kind of thing. There were things that I saw that I understood instantly because it's too much to let out. It's too fucking dark, and you're like, oh shit, and like you get instantly burned at the fucking stake if you said it out loud. Even now, like somebody would probably come and like kill you. So I can understand for the first time where that like secret knowledge concept came from, and it's a dangerous thing too, because like you can be led astray with secret knowledge. But I think it has happened, and I think that some of the good guys that we've seen throughout time that did what they needed to do. I mean, hell, for that matter, maybe even like Cortez. They did find ayahuasca when they were down there the first time fighting the Incas Aztecs, and they sent it back to Rome, and Rome was like burn fucking everything, like hell no, like that plant is the devil, so burn it. But you know that they smoked some while they're like, oh, or drank some tea. You're like, holy fuck. There's nothing that says Cortez didn't, drink the Iowa and then realize like I can't just take a ship full of gold. Like I gotta shut these motherfuckers down. Like I gotta stop the human sacrifice. And it's not gonna be pretty the way that I have to do that.
Yeah, it gets you do start to wonder, you're like, just like you can't throw out all science, even though trust science has been abused, you actually, I don't think you can throw out for the greater good, even though that is like the fucking Marxist calling card. Like I know that, but I mean, if you have that trip and you come up to some fucking civilization and they're, cutting open 1,000 people a day and have their guts poured out, you do look at that and go, if I have the ability to stop that or to lower the numbers of that happening, and it stops being like over there. Like when you're on a trip, you realize you're like, oh, when you hear about like, car bomb and, Fallujah kills 10, and you kind of just keep scrolling. You're like, no, that's 10. That's 10 of like my brothers, my best friends. You go, oh, that's trauma that, you know, I'm 10 years out of my brother's death and I still think about it every day. Those are families that are still, sure, they're
Mhm.
not white and they don't have iPhones and order DoorDash. Those are people. Well, if you roll up on a civilization that's like sliced literal rivers of blood, you go, well, we have to stop this. Well, stop this. You have to kill a lot of people. Okay, well, if we kill like 100,000, but we know they sacrifice 5 million a year, it's for the greater good. Well, that okay. Is that does that mean all your intentions are pure? Are we also going to steal their gold? Yes. Does that make it any? Do you think the people who the 5 million slaughtered a year, do you think they really give a shit if you took their shiny chalice? Well, then
Right.
it starts to get a little. You go, what does the greater good argument does it apply at times? I don't know. It gets really fucking hairy.
It does, and that's also one of the reasons we live this experience. I think if things were just black and white and fucking easy, like okay, there does have to be challenge, and there is challenge, and yeah, the greater good and the other famous or the other very popular Antifa saying by any means necessary. All right, those both have a place. Can you misuse those? Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Obviously, you can misuse those, but they are weapons.
Do you think that any of the most like powerful people today, like, do you think like, because I think you and I talked about this, where it's like the reason why I've like abandoned the idea of like the white knight or the good guy or the white hats is because to me it's so much more realistic and thus probable that it's like I have no illusions about like Donald Trump and Elon Musk just being like my buddies. They're
Right.
billionaires. I have nothing in common with them,
Right.
but our interests are aligning.
Right.
Elon, Trump wants a legacy. Trump's towards the end of his life. He wants a legacy. When once you have all the money in the world, then you want power. Once you have all the power in the world, you want legacy.
Right.
Okay. Elon is he needs a workhorse country to allow him to go become a space. He can't do this shit from foggy London town. He cannot do that there.
Fucking
No,
Guatemala.
he
Yes.
can't he can't do it in El Salvador. Right? I'm sure there are good people there. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't find a bunch of like room. This is where I just get banned from Rumble. Can't go a bunch of room temperature IQ fuckers eating their own shit in Africa. Like they're not building heat shields for hypersonic. They're just not. Okay, they're they're just not. I don't have any illusions about them being like the white hats. Instead, I'm like, Trump wants a legacy. Well, what's that legacy? Less foreign wars and a strong border and a good economy. What does Elon want? Elon wants a bunch of worker bees. Well, what does that mean? It means a bunch of jobs. Well, what I want is a country that's not being raped to death by a bunch of 50 IQ immigrants. And I'd like to get married and have kids and live a life. Yeah, sure. Our interests are aligning. Clay
Right.
wants Clay wants to Clay wants to push his book, get a couple shekels. I want a guest. Boom, it's a deal.
Oh,
It's where mutual interest. I think because of that, I have like a much more realistic take on it instead of like they're saving us. Like, no, they have a mutual interest of ours. Fine, like
right.
that, I'll take it. I wonder, is it all mutual interest? Has anyone maybe it's not them, maybe they're just the faces for something. I don't again, you don't become that wealthy and powerful on your own. They all have
Right.
icebergs under the water that we don't see. Their immediate team, their advisors, their fucking intelligence people. I do wonder if at a certain point, you know, imagine having a bad trip and knowing firsthand that like there is like real like Pizzagate shit. Imagine being a billionaire and knowing firsthand.
Mhm.
You're like, I've never been part of that, but I know shit happens there.
Yeah.
Imagine having a bad trip knowing that.
Oh,
Imagine having a
fuck.
bad trip holding like your child and being like, oh, wait, they're using code words for abusing children. Like that might be a trip so bad that you have to throw your fortune at it. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. And again, it's less of like a they're the white hat. It might be that they had pop brownies and just had the worst trip ever because
Yeah.
they know people that torture kids and ship them in shipping containers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with this rant.
Well, it's a superordinate goal is the thing you were talking about previous. That's where, your interest and my interest might not be the same, but they do align with I would rather have from what I can see, Trump and Elon versus the satanic pedophile fuckers from the East Coast. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, these guys want to make a lot of money, and so I don't know. Maybe that hyper capitalism won't be good for Clay's book sales. Let's put out 1,000 survival books. Okay, fuck it, whatever.
yeah,
That's still better than these people actually hate heterosexual white guys and want them exterminated. Okay, fuck it, I'm on this team.
yeah.
Doesn't mean that fucking
I
me
mean
and
that
Elon
they're
are boys. Yeah,
angels.
yeah, right, 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 right. Doesn't mean they're not going to do shit that I don't like. Just I had to. The superordinate goal is we all kind of want the same thing, which is me to keep living and maybe have a couple shekels. That'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's and it's also known that like, and it doesn't mean that one actually not only does it doesn't mean it means an almost 100% probability that one day this side, let's say Trump and Elon win, hypercapitalism, spacefaring species, America's stronger again. Yeah, that'll be corrupted one day.
Right.
It will 1,000% be corrupted. I'd rather have I'd rather buy another 50 years and then deal with that when it comes because it's I don't really have a lot of kinship with Elon and Trump so much as I look at the other ones that legitimately want you to chop your children's genitals off.
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
man. It's just
they're
that
really
was
making the decision easy. I'm all for listening to like, yeah, gay marriage. I mean, I guess if two men, well, sure, okay. And then it's like, and drag queens, dicks hanging out of a thong, dancing in front of your kids as the abortion bus pulls up to the
well,
DNC. I'm like, well, I'm gonna throw my hat in with the other guys who also happen to be kind of evangelicals, but they don't want to like literally cut me to pieces and call me the white Satan.
well,
Like,
I mean, this is like the darkest version of that. And I've said this a couple of times on Twitter, and hopefully I won't get you banned from Rumble right
I
here.
don't care.
But it's the same thing as them, calling all heterosexual, vaguely right-leaning-ish dudes Nazis for the last fucking 10 years and shit. Well, if you make this a fucking binary choice, like straight up, if it's join the Nazis, like the literal, I don't know, fucking swastikas and whatever bullshit, fucking SS uniforms, all this shit, or fucking we're going to exterminate all the heterosexual white guys. Well, my children are white with blonde hair and blue eyes. That decision is made for me. If you make
Yeah.
it a fucking binary choice,
I'll I'll
okay.
I'll put on the death
The
set.
little death head thing, yeah, it's happening. Like
Totenkopf.
that's
All
it.
right. Hey, I don't exactly look like I don't have a couple ancestors who maybe designed rockets, huh?
Right,
Huh?
right, exactly.
You don't think I fucking had a leather jacket at some point in my
Right,
life?
right.
Well,
So
I'm
don't make it a
fucking
fucking
like,
binary choice. But if you do, well, fuck,
but
man,
if
that decision's already made.
Tim Dillon said that, uh, he goes right now, he goes, you're making the choice. He goes, you're making the choice that you're making Trump look so much better than he is. He's like, his whole thing
Right.
is like, there is a border, and you're not allowed to ride in the streets. He's like, you're handing that to him. Like, Trump isn't like he doesn't he's not a blemish free guy. You're making him a blemish free guy. You're making his points. He wants free speech. You're demonizing the rocket guy. You're demonizing Musk. What's Musk's whole thing? Like the self-driving robot cars that would maybe make your workload less, and he wants to turn us to a spacefaring species. That is, you're now making that the bad dude, you're not winning over anyone. You're making it a lot worse. Your things, climate change. Your biggest antidote is right, it's electric cars instead of fossil fuels. Okay. And your other thing is like we have to get off this rock. He is doing it. You shouldn't be able to shut down internet. I agree. It should be available in Ukraine and Russia. No, wait, hold on. It's like you're not making the option palatable, or you're not making it difficult, I mean,
Right.
is and so I don't know. I mean, I wonder if psychedelics play a role in there because I these guys aren't stupid.
Right.
They have to, there's the whole let's take mushroom and go see, fucking a jam band, which to me I'm like that sounds awful. Or there's taking them and kind of going deep in your own mind and whatever.
Well, they're becoming so popular too in the in like the level of like rich that I can touch. So there's strata of rich, obviously. There's like, Musk and fucking Bezos and Bill Gates. That's like a but there's a different strata. There's a strata of like, light millionaires. These are worth like 100 million down to like 5 million
Yeah.
ish. It's becoming super popular in this strata, which means it's probably already been popular in this strata. So I don't think a lot of people, a lot of them have talked about it. Because also, this is maybe something you keep from the peasants. Like it is power,
Hmm.
in a way. It is visionary power. So yeah, I think there's probably been a lot of it. Probably a lot of it behind closed doors. But I mean, fuck, even some of the dickheads like is Steve Jobs, right? He invented the iPhone by doing a shitload of acid.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think it's been a lot more popular in that strata than we know, which does lead me back to you can be deceived. There are things that you see over there that are not your friend too, and everything has an agenda. So what those people saw, I think that actually fuels both ways. Uh, it fuels what we would consider the good guys and the bad guys, or the light gray hats and the dark gray, however you want to fucking look at it. So yeah, I think there's been a lot of it.
I would imagine just IQ levels. They would be interested in it.
Oh yeah, yeah. If
Not
you look
not
at it as
not
a
not even like in the sense of doing good or bad. I mean, what they've known for a while is that psilocybin increases global connectivity, where all the parts of the brain talk to each other. I'm looking at that like I think it was Goldman Sachs in like 2010 or 2011 invested like 100 million in faster undersea cables so that they could make high frequency trades something like a hundredth of a second faster. And in 1 year, it netted an additional 650 million in profit.
shit.
They're not pushing internet because it's like more people can learn about the history of the planet, and it's not some Apple commercial where you can FaceTime with your abuela. They're like, we can get fucking more money, more coke, more hookers, more penthouses. They're like, let's so I just again I try to be more realistic and I go, if you're like an Elon or a Bezos, you're probably going like, oh, I could think even more.
Yeah,
I could,
what
I
can I
could
do for
increase the
one more piece of horsepower?
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I gotta piss so bad. Clay, tell everyone where to find your
Yeah.
shit.
Okay. Yeah, so time to take a leak. You can find all my shit on Amazon. Most recent one is Barbarian Spirit, which I highly recommend. That was more about like the spirit realm stuff. It's been a wild trip. Before that, we had Rat the Wendigo, which is free drug kind of visionary stuff, written as a fictional novel, but very weird. That's where I started seeing the stuff, and then later with the drug path, which led us to Barbarian Spirit. The two probably most important for right now, Concrete Jungle and Prairie Fire. Those are my survival books written in 2020, uh, right during the George Floyd riots, and then right before the election of that year. Maybe a little bit early, but definitely something to keep in mind for right now. What actually happens this election? Maybe nothing. Maybe the nothing or half the pros are right. That's a distinct possibility. But things are already set for potential fucking shenanigans like we've never seen. We're already in a cycle of political violence that is without precedent in this country. So it's going to be wild, wild times. Maybe we shall see.
Yeah, how
Everything
does
come
it?
out okay.
Yeah, I think it's just all blood. Um,
That means you did your workout this morning.
yeah,
Three
just
G's working.
yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think if anything, it's maybe it's like what I told you about just finally my buddy Stully's been trying to get me for years. Finally starting to like read into 40K and it's less than a day in. It's already fucking awesome. But it's kind of giving me more of like a white pill optimistic look in that not that I don't think it won't be without just immeasurable, unfathomable suffering. I mean, I said whatever happens, it's if I will be killed for, just being a dissenting voice. Whatever. Whatever. I'm good with it. I don't care. Um, but it has made me a little more optimistic and like, yeah, what we're going through now is probably not a unique like growing pain of a civilization. And I know it's right now it's hard because we're in it, but I think this is probably one of the things that happens to species. If we got through for now, we've been through the nuclear bottleneck, right? You could Cuban Missile Crisis, kind of went through like the World War bottlenecks. COVID wasn't real, but like we've been through pandemics. I would imagine another one is like asteroid. But it
Oh yeah.
seems like there are bottlenecks, hurdles, rounds of selection that you make it through if you've got the right stuff. I feel like where we are now is probably one of the last hurdles before becoming spacefaring, and then it goes forever, and there's a zillion more hurdles. But I don't know. It's made me a little more optimistic and like, yeah, I don't think you get to this. I don't think we're in a unique spot. I mean, we are, but in terms of like the universe, I don't think we are.
Well,
It is
it's
probably normal that there's like a point where there's like demon worshiping pedophiles, and it's like you kind of you gotta take a flamethrower to the weeds.
What's a good way of looking at the fight too. This is really this is some real shit right here. What has the left, the climate change nerds, and all this bullshit? What have they done to space? All right, they've fucking shut it down. All right, they do not want any money for space research. They made NASA into like some bullshit, help the planet fucking learn math. Goddamn, ensure
Like
what is
PBS
NASA's
program.
yeah, yeah, some fucking. We stopped as a nation trying to explore space a long time ago, and the left basically wants us to go back to the fucking Stone Age. You can ride in your electric bus outside of your 15-minute city when you get a pass. They want to control everyone. What that would also do is that would crush innovation. Next thing, for that matter, we haven't had a outside of Musk, we haven't had, in my opinion, like technological innovation that helps with like the exploratory model in like 20 years. Everything's been internet focused. We have faster Zoom, we have cameras, we have fucking the metaverse and all this bullshit to keep you happy living in your cubicle, eating the bugs, whatever kind of bullshit. The other side, the Musk side, wants heavy entry. They want to get off this fucking rock. They want to go and explore space. That is the conflict, and it can be lost. All right, if the other team wins, it shuts everybody down, and all we learn about in school is fucking 57 gender identities. we lose our ability to do industrial things and machining, we're fucked. You could enter a 1,000-year dark age where, people are afraid of the fucking moon again. It's entirely fucking possible. So yeah, this is perhaps a bottleneck of a different sort. Maybe this is where
Mm,
you fight to see what kind of civilization you're going to be.
mm. Yeah, it's like it's kind of almost like a black hole. It's not necessarily extinction
Right.
so much as it's just like you stay in the pod all day is just like VR porn and like fast food in a blender
Yeah.
and like you just everyone's just everything is just gender. There's it'll be so far beyond like binary and gender fluid. It'll be like it's what Tim Dillon says, like I'm a non-binary fox communist witch with wings. Like it that's like it's almost a worse death. I'd almost rather
Yeah.
like this. I'd almost rather it fall short and like Kennedy launches the nukes at Khrushchev rather than like
Yeah.
everyone's just like 900 pounds with neon purple hair and nose studs talking about the fucking sexuality of like the golden retriever they've been sleeping with. That's
Right.
almost worse.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
it is.
fire the
It's
fucking nukes.
fucking
Fuck
burn
you,
it. Burn
dude.
it.
Yeah, legitimately do that. Yeah, it's I have the reason I have faith, and we can slowly wrap it up if you want. But the reason I do have faith is like so you don't have to convince anyone that McDonald's is good, right? It just is. You can say like this musician or pop music is so shit, but there's a reason why it's so catchy. It's because it's just simple and the fucking like no one can say with a straight face that like not a single Katy Perry song isn't catchy. Even the most
Yeah.
fucking manliest Delta Force operators still probably like last night. Dun-dun." It's just what it doesn't make it bad. Doesn't mean
Right.
you're gay. It's you can eat healthy all you want. You can do psychedelics and meditate and watch the rising sun. And the reality is, man, is like a Twinkie is still a Twinkie, and it like
Yeah.
sucks you in with that. And because of that, I'm optimistic because at our core, people want to fuck. They want new toys every Christmas, and they want infinite growth. And you can still be by becoming a spacefaring speed. You don't have to worry about
Oh, oh,
population. Yeah.
hold on there. You and I want infinite growth and we want to explore and we want to see new things. How many people were willing to cross the ocean? How many people were willing to cross out of the valley? This is the disconnect. It's only about 20 to 30% that are wired that way. Everybody else is scared of the fucking forest and the fucking ghosts that the priest told them are in the fog, and they will stay in the village for the next 1,000 years.
You don't need 100% of people. How many people
No,
crossed the ocean to the New World?
true, but you
Wasn't
need
me.
somebody.
Wasn't
But
you.
we
People
don't.
came here and then it grew. You
As
don't
long
need
as
everyone.
as long as the priests aren't in control and tell them to burn the boats,
Yeah.
because we'll bring the curse back.
Yeah.
So that's it's going to depend on if we can take and grab enough power to let Elon keep fucking launching rockets.
But I don't think it doesn't need to be indefinitely. I think even if you just, and I don't mean like in our lives. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm, I'm zooming out and being
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
like what? So I mean, I never knew this like a little bit. Harvard was founded in 1604, 170 years before the American Revolution. Like
No, I
these
didn't know
are
that.
huge time scales,
True.
right? Like 170 years ago was pre-Civil War. So imagine
Right.
170, imagine from pre-Abe Lincoln to where we are now, that time again, pre fucking powdered wigs and muskets and the Patriot. It's and so what came before that? Did Harvard just pop up? No, like there were settlers before that. So you got to zoom out in like 500-year spans and be like, yeah, no, it can stagnate for a long time. It can go up a little
True.
bit down. It can kind of just do nothing. You don't need every single person in Great Britain having the nuts to go to the New World. If you have a couple who come over here, kill all the fucking savages, and then go, hey, yeah, we can start our own world. It's not that long before you're here for, again, in the grand scheme of things, you're here for 100, 200 years. You go, hey, fuck the crown. Fuck those fat. They're all the way back there. We know this land. They just fucking kill them all. Like that is, and that's not like a hypothetical. Like that is like the history of our country. So my point is like, if you just start exploring, you just get like a couple outposts somewhere. Just keep keep going. Yeah, eventually that outpost is gonna be like, you know what? Man, fuck those pedophiles back on Earth. Like, fuck those literal pedophiles. Like, give Mars, again, not in our lives. I mean, I'm looking like 22, 24, 200 years from now.
Yeah.
You have like a sizable colony on, or you could have 13 colonies on Mars and the moon and different shit. And then you're going to have the crown and their archaic ways. And they're going to be like, we're taxing you on your helium-3 mining, much like the T. And finally, you're like, why don't we just fucking kill them all? It's just like if we get caught, we're dead, right? But it's like treason doesn't matter if you win.
All right, that's true.
That's how I look at it. Is like you don't need 100% of people. You just
True.
need to get over there, start growing,
Well,
and then in time overthrow.
as long as they won't murder you for the counter to this would be look at Islam. Islam from like I don't know when was it founded? 600 AD. 600 AD to like 1200 AD was like the light of the world. All right, they were the most tolerant, coolest, fucking thinkingest, forwardest motherfuckers that were. They had the Library of Baghdad. They were doing so much with math. They brought coffee to fucking Europe, which basically brought us from being a bunch of drunken ape
Like the
retards to
Enlightenment,
like
yeah.
yeah, to actually be able to think and do our own science and shit. What's Islam now? They're not putting out a lot of rocket scientists. They crushed their populations.
Hmm.
They killed everybody that was fucking smart. And now, for the most part, the Middle East is a fucking third world hellhole full of room temperature IQ fucking retards.
Hmm.
If we were to allow them to do that on a global scale, there's a possibility they could set us back 5,000 years as far as our ability to get off this planet.
Sure, but I also look at it like in the same time that they are that backward shithole. You and I are talking over Zoom on flat screens.
That's true.
It doesn't need to last forever, is what I mean.
Yeah,
It's you just need to you put up the scaffolding and build the skyscraper. The scaffolding can fall away. The scaffolding company can go broke. Doesn't matter. The building's built. My point is, and I'm not saying it's like a certainty. Far, far, far from it. What I'm saying is, it doesn't have to last forever. It absolutely doesn't. You just need to you get your foot in the door. You go start a colony on Mars, or even doesn't have to be a planet, like an orbital thing. Get that going. America will continue to rot and do whatever. China will rise or it won't. If you can get it going long enough, it will then birth something.
true.
They're
Oh,
going
I
to be
agree.
like, hey, we
100%.
got rid of all this red tape back from Earth. We do this shit in Mars. We don't. There's no oversight. We just go fuck it. We don't care. We have no OSHA. We live on an
Oh.
irradiated hellhole. We just like just fucking like send it every day. We're like, hey, we found a new engine prototype. Go for it. Like you do have like the people that are there are going to be like genetically those will be people who are much more open to adventure, exploration, and gambling and risk, and probably not care a whole lot about self-preservation. They're like, go for it. It's this new fusion rock. You go, yeah. I mean, like, and they might torch half the planet, but like, my point is by the time like you know we stop sending resupply ships to Mars and the bureaucracy takes over, Mars might not even be the cutting edge anymore. You may be like, dude, Mars is so last year. Like, we sent a generation ship to Proxima Centauri or something. So what I mean is like it doesn't have to last forever. Islam did the bring coffee to like Europe. That's your thing. And then they say the revolution was born in the cafe, in the not
Yeah.
the pub. It was everyone just getting fucking hopped up on espresso and being like, what if we just fucking killed all these wig faggots? They were all
Right.
fucking coked up to this. Ben Franklin and the gang just essentially coked up to their gills. Just like,
Right.
man, we could fucking do this. What if we, it literally is like the meme of like the coked out frat guys coming up with business ideas. Like, what if we had our own constitution? Like, fuck yeah. Like, you gotta be white, known land. They're like, I'm on board with this. Like,
Like,
you
look
know what I
around the room like,
mean?
okay.
Yeah, like, well, yeah, just fucking, yeah, fuck these fucking people, dude. I can do what they do. This fucking, they wear powdered wigs. Fuck that shit, dude. Like, that's what I'm saying. Is like, so it doesn't need to last forever. You just get to Mars, you or anywhere. You create some sort of pushing it out. All you have to do is it's like with this, and like I don't watch any sports ball, but like March Madness, everyone like March Madness basketball. It's just one game, and you win and you move forward. It's 128, 64, 32, Sweet 16, Elite Eight, Final Four, championship. And it's they call it the big dance, the Cinderella thing, because you don't need to win series of like best out of seven. You just have to show up one day and win. And happens all the time. Fucking it's the best sports ever. It's bottom, it's end of the fourth quarter, fucking buzzer beater, 3-pointer swish. You have to beat them once and then you're on to the next round. The entire thing is survive in advance. You don't worry about who's injured. You don't worry about, you're not planning like, well, what are we going to do next year for the point guard? It's just about like, if we beat them today, we're going to fucking the championship next week. It's just survive in advance. I think that's kind of what it is. You don't need to set up a 30-year sports dynasty. We just have to win tonight. Like my ankle's fucked. Wrap it up, take like a cortisol shot, and if we lose, then all right, you have the entire offseason to heal. But if we win, like we're legends. I think that's what it is you don't need to have the American empire go forever. You don't. You just need to get to the next point. Mars, the moon, fucking Pluto, whatever. And then just keep it survive in advance, survive in advance. And one day we'll look back at the United States the same way. I never knew that fucking Islam brought coffee to Europe, but like that's their thing. They did their thing.
Yeah.
We might look back and be like, yeah, America, like the idea of like America and like constitutional, like Westphalian government in 1,000 years could be looked at the same way we look at current Islam, or like it is the Middle Ages.
But
And
did you know they took a fucking internal combustion engine to Mars? Oh my God. Holy shit.
but what I mean is, I don't, and someone like you will like someone like me be like, yeah, they are a shithole now, but they actually brought like the fusion engine, and you'd be like, wow, and you'd be like, yeah, but now
Those
they're a
dumbasses?
shithole.
Yeah. Holy shit.
But and then someone will go, well, that's all they had to do was introduce the fusion engine. They can rot out now. They did their thing. It's like, so Islam brought coffee to Europe. Okay, that birthed everything like a Russian doll opening up forward. That's all it needed to do. It's like Nazi Germany doesn't exist anymore. They had liquid fueled rockets. They gave their thing to the world. So my point is like it doesn't. This shit can and will rot out to its core. So long as it moves forward just that much, it can keep going. You get to a point where it keeps expanding and expanding. It doesn't mean that Earth will be like the capital of the. It could be that Earth is the same way we look at like the Fertile Crescents where civilization started. Look at it now, you're like, yeah, I'm not going there without
Fuck,
like a
fuck.
legitimate Delta team with me.
Right. Right.
But
And an air conditioner. Fuck that place.
and
It's
an
a
air
shithole.
conditioner, but going back in time, that would be where it started. And that led to me sitting in front of an iMac. So my point is like, doesn't need to last forever. You can look back at Earth one day the same way we look at just like fucking Shiite and Sunni muck just like chopping each other's heads off. Like you can look back at Earth and be like, wow, that's a fucked up place, and be like, yeah, but without it, we wouldn't be here and there to there to there to there. So that's where my optimism comes from. Is like it just has to survive. I said this with Dr. Malone last week. Trump needs to get in office and not try to take on the military industrial complex like Kennedy, or because that doesn't work. What you need to do is take that funding and those contracts and everything, and instead be like, we're going to send everything to Mars, and just give them a hand, be like, and it needs missiles. Even if it doesn't, just say, and it
Right.
needs, they'll be like, we can do that. We can do that. We can put sidewinders on that shuttle. Whatever. Use the manufacturing capability of these defense contractors and the might of the US economy. Do a false flag. Say there's fucking brown people on Mars. We'll be like, we'll fucking nuke them yesterday.
There's goddamn Mexicans on Mars. We
There's
gotta.
goddamn Mexicans. You'll have Lockheed Martin come out tomorrow and be like, here's this 9-stage space shuttle with IR heat, and just don't go the whole get rid of the weapons. Just go, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. We'll do that. Get to the next thing, and then everything behind it's fucked. It's fine. So I don't know how we got onto this shit. Why are we talking about Mars? I black out sometimes while doing these podcasts, or I just like dissociate and I come back too. And I'm still like, what am I talking about?
Well, here's the tie-in. Uh, this has been unique to everybody else that I've talked to, and some people said it was like metaphor that I misunderstood, but it was very fucking clear. that was part of my mission was we have to get off this fucking rock. And that is our end state
Yes.
as a species. That is what
Whoa.
we were built to do, get off this fucking rock. And this is Earth is kind of like our fucking prison. And people think that's fucking crazy, but I believe that that's true. That is our mission right now. And maybe after that, we get a new mission. We get to Mars and like, okay,
There
well,
will be. There
fucking,
will be
yeah,
another.
right. Here's the fucking thing now. Like, oh, fuck. But we have to do that. And that puts a lot of things in perspective. It does. It puts in perspective the Lockheed Martin. It puts in perspective sending your kids to fucking engineering school, defending those institutions, MIT, and make sure it's not some woke shithole where they only make studs for noses. They make actual shit that's useful. So it does tie everything together in a fucking crazy, weird way. And it also ties nature back to industry and why we want both things. So it was pretty fucking nutso, but it solidified a lot of things for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the thing I look at is like ultimately us going to another planet is the most natural thing. I mean, two cells splitting. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly
dividing
right.
and moving on. That's
Right.
exactly look at all of Elon Musk's companies. These are all what do they all have in, is he just a busy bee? Okay, self-landing rockets, orbital internet, boring underground, so what does it really look like? Okay, self-landing rockets gets you to a new planet. Okay, orbital internet. Okay, you don't have time to dig a bunch of fucking, cables and fiber optic routes on Mars. You got to have it in orbit. Okay, self-driving cars. You can't be worried about having a car and driving off a cliff. Instead, you have a robot scanning everything, driving you along the way. You don't have gas. You don't have to fill it up. It's a fucking battery that runs on solar power. Why do you have to tunnel? We have to tunnel to get away from solar radiation. What about Neuralink? Well, that would be able to interact with people back on Earth at near light speed. Everything he's doing is really a staging ground for a new planet. That's all it is. And that I guess that's how it's like if imagine being some like German like spy and just kind of like looking at the preparations for D-Day, be like, huh, they're bringing over a lot of landing ships. Oh, they're also bringing over observation balloons, a lot of planes too. Eventually, it dawns on you, yo, they're coming here. That's what eventually the more you look at all of his companies, what they really all are is a scaffolding to superimpose on another celestial body.
Well, look at the advances he's made in his rocket engines too. It's been fucking insane how much they've evolved just in like 7 years. And this is funny. This is one of the things the non-exploratory people always say, like, well, we can't get to it; it's too far. Well, fuck, man. They used to think that if you went over 20 miles an hour, your blood would boil. Like
Yeah.
people were opposed to cars because the science said if you go over 20 miles, your blood will boil. You just die fucking instantly. 21 miles an hour, it's over. It's
Yeah.
fucking done.
Yeah.
Technology advances. Yeah, okay. Light speed's difficult now. It's an
For
impossible
n-
dream.
for now,
Yeah, it's gonna be a bad joke. Like, oh, my fucking kids, they learn to drive at light speed. Shut the fuck up.
it's
Like,
it's the most it's the gayest shit when they're like, well, you can't go faster than light speed. It's like it's in the same breath saying like man will never fly. Like, what are you
right.
fucking talking about? And it will all keep going. So ultimately, back to like the McDonald's thing, like where it's like you don't have to force people to. No, not everyone wants to go and explore. Not everyone wants to get on that ship and go across the ocean. But once someone does, it is so much. Imagine if 300 years ago, Great Britain was like, we need to limit the population and everyone needs to stop burning coal versus be like, let's go to America. It's Vegas. You can just do whatever. That is the most natural thing to be like, all right, we're going to limit to one child and you're not in your export, or it can be like, go to Mars. Everything runs on fusion engines. You can literally just leave an air conditioner on outside. That is the
But
natural
by the
state.
way, the planet's full of coal. We got this. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
is legitimately is going to be like you can stay here, or it could be like you can just go. I mean, historically, it's not even a hypothetical. Historically, the last 100, 200 years of the US has been people from all over the planet being like, fuck it. I got my suitcase. I got $8. I'm going to whatever happens, happens. That is the natural state of mankind, is to just be like, fuck it. Go for it. So you're gonna have a bunch of squares on Earth that are like, you gotta respect genders and you can't burn more than an ounce of gasoline a year. are going to be like, dude, go to Mars. There's literally no OSHA. There's no police. Everyone has fucking gun laws don't apply. Everyone has directed energy weapons. Which one's going to attract like most people? Like, yeah, dude, I'm fucking going over there. Fuck this gay shit. Fuck this faggoty planet where it's all windmills and gender affirmation. Like, they're using hydrogen bombs to like fucking, bleach out like, whatever it's
Settle gang
history.
wars and shit. Yeah, it's awesome.
History says mankind's going there. Like, yeah, dude, you have fun on Earth. Earth had its time. Like, Great Britain, as Tim Dillon says, and we'll wrap it up with this. As Tim Dillon says, Great Britain's still called Great Britain. It it's not great, but the name stuck. All right. Just because it says that doesn't mean its day is not still here. The sun does set on the British Empire. It sets on everything over there. You get arrested for pointing out fucking Muhammad raped your child. It's done. For a while though, it gave us a lot. You could argue that it gave us America. Rinse and repeat forever.
Dad, look at my ass. Oh my goodness, come here, honey. And I guess we'll end by showing
Yeah.
off this house.
Beautiful. Exactly.
That's some good work. That's
See
it.
what is the instinctual thing? It's to build more, to build a habitat and move forward. It goes forever.
Right.
I appreciate it,
Exactly.
little man. He wrapped it up beautifully. I don't believe that you didn't plan that though. I don't trust you today. You're
You
just as
shouldn't.
bad as the rest of them. You're like, I'm gonna use the kid. You degenerate. You absolute degenerate. Yeah, let's wrap this up. For everybody listening, please go in the description. Please go buy the book, Barbarian Spirit. And yeah, you won't be alone when you realize that when you take psychedelics at night, you do want to take your clothes off and go outside. It's totally normal. It's yeah, I don't know. So that's my pitch for the book. Go in the description, go follow Clay on Twitter. Um, anything else?
No, man, that wraps it up perfectly. Go to
Okay,
fucking
dude.
Mars.
Okay, go to fucking Mars, psychedelics, take your dick out. We're gonna be okay. All right, brother. Till
All
next
right,
time.
I
Thank you so
appreciate it,
much for
man.
your time. Guys.